Hey, what up? This is Ree here. Real motherfuck, thank you for joining me. Thanks for being back again. I appreciate all of you, and let's just get into this video. So I want to talk about how kundalini energy has to relate to music, has to relate to alchemy within your body, and relates to your chakras as well. And this is the best book I find that really explains this in detail so people can understand, and how basically we're just frequencies, and what we're aspiring to become is a higher frequency of ourselves. And how do we do that? Okay, I'm going to read this part. This book is The Initiatic Path of the Arcana of Tarot and Kabbalah. When you think about that, the whole music industry uses Kabbalah as well. So think about why music has a certain frequency. What is it doing to the body? Since frequency is so important to the body, and it's all about raising our frequency. So it starts off and it says, just as a lion transforms the serpent into its own flesh when he devours it, so too the power of Devi Kundalini, the sacred fire transmuted, eliminates its defects, its errors. What is important to the Magna Obra, which is what we're trying to achieve, the key you already know, the Thana. What that means is the practice is to bring up your level of kundalini energy, which can also involve practices such as tantric sex, which doesn't involve sex at all, or sex magic, which doesn't involve sex at all. Nothing outside of yourself. Everything happens within. So the alchemist must work for 12 hours to obtain the ferment of the gold. Here is a number 12. Whoever possesses fermented gold can have the joy to really be. That's what the whole thing is, being able to create gold, because you are the gold. And for you, that's why they say the 12, because that's also representing the 12 signs of the zodiac. As above, so below. So it's transforming yourself into the gold. And the essence or fraction of incarnated soul is trapped into the pluralized I or ego, which is within the animal body and the lunar body of desire. So how we come down here and we're split, we're always in duality, and manifest by means of the physical body. We differ from animals only because of the intellect, because animals also have mind, but not intellect. The authentic man needs to eliminate the ego and fabricate the solar bodies with the transmutation of the HC12, 12 laws. The fabrication of the solar bodies has an intimate relationship with music and its 7 notes. Think of, we have 7 planets as well. Hydrogen, C12, I'm going to explain that in a minute, is produced when the human organism is being initiated from the process of digestion. Now, you see here this chart. So you recognize this from music, right? Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si. And then do, we always go back to do, right? So do is when the food is in the mouth. So all these represent the chakras in the body. So do is when the food is in the mouth. Re is when it reaches the throat. By the way, my name is Re and it's spelled R-E because it's just a different spelling so people don't get confused. But this is Re in music, but it's the same thing. When it reaches the throat. Mi when it reaches the levels of the lungs. Fa when it reaches the stomach, spleen, and liver. Sol when it reaches the solar plexus. La when it reaches the colon and the pancreas. C when hydrogen C12 is produced. So that's where we get the C from. This is hydrogen is produced. Now that is the kundalini energy. So after the C note comes do, because we always go do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, do in music. So I always did musical training like this all the time. So that's how this is like, I already know this. But after the note C comes do, which corresponds to another musical scale with a higher octave. C can be elevated to a higher musical octave by restraining from sexual impulse and ejaculation, because you're trying to keep all the energy in your body. So you see, it's all just vibration. It's all just frequency. And we're trying to get ourselves to a higher frequency, because once you've mastered all of these, you can go to a higher frequency. And like it said, once you're on that higher frequency, you're going to be able to eliminate its defects and its errors. So that eliminates you, that wakes you up. That's the ultimate waking up, is opening all of this up. This is how the HC12 passes to a second octave, giving the rise to solar astral body. Through a third shock, the hydrogen will pass to a third octave, which will then give rise to the solar mental body. A fourth octave gives birth to the body of consciousness, will. All this work is with the Methana. Once in possession of these four vehicles, our divine being will enter through the pineal gland, and we will then obtain the second birth and become true men. So it's by raising that scale, just like in music, going up the scale, going up the octaves, by us raising our vibration, that's how we become the superhuman with our efforts. So our efforts would be for another video, but keeping you super clean, your meditation, living the life with compassion, with empathy and things like that. Because it's not just meditating and then go back to your life and be horrible to people. You have to live on that higher frequency and have compassion to even people you may not agree with, and that's the ultimate living like that. So I just thought it was just interesting how everything just lines up like that. Anyways, I love y'all, and real motherfucker.